Okay, that's enough of that. I'm sorry. That song is so fucking... I did. So anyway, I forgot to hit the go live button, which means that the broadcast actually starts. So our guest tonight, James Gray, has had to listen to that song twice now. So I'm really, really sorry for that. Hi, everybody.
I'm surprised he's still fucking here.
Welcome. Welcome to Canadian AF. Canadian as fuck right here on Revolution Radio Canada. I'm Craig G, alongside Dimetre, Alexiou, and Derek at Rev Radio. All uncovered. Welcome, everyone. I hope tonight's better than last week, man, because last week was a shit show. So
James Gray was promised a shit show.
Yeah, he was.
Before we went on air, you said it's a shit show, and then you didn't do the live thing.
You're right.
And
I
then
did.
he had to sit here. And
You're right.
Twice.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. I know. It is. James, it's a shit show so far because of me. But just give it 10 minutes and then it'll be a shit show because of Derek.
You know what I love right now? James's absolute stunned silence.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I know.
I'm just taking it all in.
Yeah,
I'm taking it all in.
Yeah, we'll get to you in a sec here, James.
Stoic, this man. Stoic.
So, Dimetre, take it away, my friend.
Canadian as fuck would like to begin by acknowledging the Indigenous peoples of all the lands that we are on today. And while we meet tonight on a virtual platform, we would like to take a moment to acknowledge the importance of the lands we call home. And we do this to reaffirm our commitment and responsibility in improving relationships between nations, to improving our own understanding of local Indigenous peoples and cultures, and to try to move forward in a spirit of reconciliation and collaboration.
Our man Derek Lewis has been talking about this fella for some time now, so we're excited to have him. Welcome, James Gray, and thanks for being here tonight, brother. We greatly appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, it's
Derek
nice to be here.
Derek, take it away, buddy.
What?
Take it away.
Begin the interview.
Shit. You wrote stuff down. James, hi. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. How are you doing?
I'm stellar. I am.
Told you it wouldn't take 10 minutes until Derek shat the bed. I love it. Anyway, sorry.
At the bed yet?
Not yet. Well, close.
Calm your fucking tits. All right. Jesus.
Oh, buddy.
I'm trying to talk to James, so you shut up.
Okay, I'll be over here. I'll be over here if you need me.
First off, I'm gonna introduce James. How I was introduced to James. My brother Jake, who owns Pit Stop 518.
Sure.
I ran up there for the weekend or a week or something, and he says, "Put your boots on. We're gonna." And it was the middle of winter. The first time I saw you at Fork on Main, in downtown Kearney. I think it was like February or March, and Jake's like, "Put your boots on. We're gonna go see my buddy James play at Fork." And I was like, "Yeah, all right." So we went down, and this man won my heart and admiration with one song, and it was the first thing he did. And I was like, I'm done. I love him. He's amazing, and I will listen to all his stuff forever. You started off by playing Robin Hood and Little John.
Oh, did I? Yeah.
From the Disney movie.
Yeah.
And he starts playing, and I yell out from the corner like I know what's going on. And it was the most beautiful rendition of that song other than the movie.
Yeah, thanks, Derek.
Even you know what? Better than the movie. I'm going to say better than the movie.
Oh, don't do that. But
no, 100%. It was great.
You talked about this I think you mentioned this last week.
I probably did.
Yeah.
I probably did. And then we went up and saw you at the barn earlier this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was a delight as well.
That was a lot of fun.
And where is the barn?
So yeah, that's just I live/grew up just north of Huntsville. And the barn is kind of in that area. It's called Sundridge. Friends of mine, they have this beautiful little space, this house concert, and I believe it was for the album release. What was it for my album release, Derek, that night?
I think so.
Yeah. And had
you played all night.
A beautiful crowd, just full full of friends and locals that come out to watch. We got a nice little community up here. People that love to come out and watch music. So
was that for new friends that talk like old friends?
that's the one, Dimitri.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was it. Did I have a little band with me, or was I on my own, Derek?
You played your first set by yourself,
And then I had a couple guys with me.
and then you had a couple of guys come up.
Yeah,
with you.
yeah. So that was the night. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
dude had like that nice big upright.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that was great. James also does a staggering rendition of Bob Cajun, and you can. I think you've got it on your YouTube channel.
Nice.
I don't. I've never recorded it.
What?
Should
Nobody's
I?
recorded you do that live?
No, should I?
I think you should.
Dude, yeah. Yeah. The answer is yes.
100% you should.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, James, you have traveled literally everywhere. And
A little bit. Yeah.
I know you're up Muskoka way. You're up
Yeah.
Huntsville, and you live in a little tiny cabin,
Yeah.
and it's glorious, and you love it.
It's lovely. Sadly, I'm at my parents' house right now because they have a good Wi-Fi connection and I don't. So
That's fine.
but yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I live in the bush. I love it. Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm cutting you off. Yeah.
No, it's totally fine. Yeah. So you've been everywhere. So I know you've traveled extensively through Canada and through the States. I know you've gone through Europe because you were in Portugal with a cat.
Yeah, so I've toured across Canada quite a few times. I haven't done it lately. I've never played in the States, but I do Europe every spring. I go over to Europe and I do a tour. So I just actually got home about a month ago. I started in northern Germany. I was kind of zigzagging through Germany, down into Switzerland, then I finished in Austria, and it was wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to come home after that. I mean, I love being home, but it was really, really great. People really listen, and the people you meet. And I go over, with my guitar, and I got a little camping backpack, and I just hop trains and play gigs. And it's a blast. And I just, these places, they put me up. A lot of them, I shoot them emails. I get contacts through friends, or I see these places online, or I get referred from other gigs from past years. And these strangers or sometimes friends from before, they're putting me up and they're feeding me, and you kind of you show up to a town and it's exciting, and then a couple of days later you leave, you go to the next town, and you do it all again, and you play these shows, and a lot of people can't speak English and they just sit there pin drop quiet. It's pretty remarkable. Yeah.
How many times have you been to Australia?
Just once. Yeah.
And how long were you there for?
I was there for 7 weeks or so. It's been a while. I really want to go back. Yeah. It was too hot for me, but other than that, I loved it. Yeah.
Well, what month did you go?
In their summer, which I won't. Yeah, which I won't again. Yeah.
Okay. And whereabouts all did you go?
Started in Brisbane, kind of worked my way down the coast to Melbourne.
Well,
and
Brisbane's got to be boiling.
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah. I loved it. I will definitely go back, but not in their summer. It was cooking. Like, I remember my friends like, you can't wear shoes. And it's like, what does that mean? You can't wear shoes. And then you get there, it's like, you can't wear shoes. Like, you just got to wear sandals all the time. And just like, yeah, it's a strange, hot world down there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see weird animals?
Yeah, I saw some weird animals. Saw some, of course, see kangaroos and wallabies and stuff. Saw some like spiders that would be the size of like animals, like small dinner plate size spiders. And yeah, it's weird down there. Yeah, I loved it, but it was weird. Yeah.
Do you know that kangaroos have a very unique way of cooling their body?
How do they do it?
They sit under a shaded tree.
Yeah.
And they lick the inside part of their wrist, which cools the blood here, because that's the blood that it goes through the rest of you.
Sure.
And I don't know. It's just a thing in my head. I know dumb shit. And yeah, so I don't know.
That's great. I was in the bush today helping a buddy. We're building a cabin on his property, and we got into the conversation of like, You know how humans have lasted so long? Because we were sweating. It was 28 degrees. We were up putting these beams in this guy's buddy's cabin. He's like, because we can sweat. No other animals can sweat, and we have so much endurance because we can sweat. And I was like, that's a great point. I never would have thought of that.
Yeah, dogs and cats pant.
They all pant. Yeah, and then we can track them down and eat them.
That's true. Not the dogs and cats.
Well, not anymore, but like before everyone told us what was okay and what was not. Like, you're hungry, you're
eat the cute things with the big eyes. Eat those.
Sure, of course.
Those are the ones you eat.
Mm-hmm. Imagine how much better we'd do if we take shade under a tree and lick the inside of our wrists.
Yeah.
You know what? I suggest that one day we try it. We just. I might do it tomorrow. You know? Just for something to do.
Do it.
Make sure you report back to all of us, including James.
I will.
In front of a bunch of strangers, like on a park.
Oh, totally. Well, I'm downtown Toronto. I mean,
it has to be under a tree.
Yeah, you fit in, man.
Can it be some semblance of the tree? Because that's basically what I have in Toronto. Yeah. How about a hydro pole? Does that work?
Yeah. You'd have to make your way to High Park for a tree. So.
It's true. I'm envious of James and his middle of nowhere cabin. Makes me very happy.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's nice.
Wow. So in 2020, so the music world had a great big loss, and you took that kind of to heart as well. And I don't remember, because I remember you saying at you're having a little chat at the barn about John Prine, and there was something I remember. Was it Mariposa afterwards, where there was like a memorial concert thing, and you were there, and his son was there.
Yeah. So kind of what happened was, so in 2019, I got into Mariposa. They do this thing called showcase auditions. So smaller artists like myself will show up to audition, and they get like a few hundred submissions, and then they narrow it down to 10, and then they put us in this room, like in this theater, and you compete, which is kind of strange. But anyways, I got into Mariposa through that, and it's kind of building a little bit of steam, and then played, and it was wonderful. And then the next year, John Prine was one of the headliners, who, Prine's one of my favorites, and we're all excited in this community. And then unfortunately, he passed COVID, and then Mariposa's like the first big festival of the summer, and then it was canceled. So we were all kind of down about that. And then when Mariposa came back in 2022, John Prine's son Tommy Prine played, and John's band played, and they all played together, and I got to introduce them, and I got to have a good chat with Tommy. It was very wonderful. Yeah, it was very wonderful, and a very heartfelt. I got up in front of the crowd, and it's like, it's not really much we have to say here. We're all here in memory of John, and it was a pretty special afternoon for sure. Yeah.
Amazing.
Do you take any specific lessons, do you think, that from John Prine's songwriting?
Yeah, great question, Dimitri. Yeah, I think that one thing that he does many things well, but I think one thing that he does really well is he says a lot without a lot of words, and he does it very casually, in his own way, and he always has like this very endearing way of singing. And then, because when someone's preaching to you, it's less inviting, where when he says it like a friend would say to you, to me, it's changed the way I hear music, and it's changed the way that I hear lyrical folk music, because it's so inviting, and it's so nonchalant, but he's saying so much deep shit, and it's so wonderful. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. And it's like, and I think a lot of his songs are stories, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that that's something, like when listening to the latest album today by you, that I think that that's something that you try to do too. Like
huge. Yeah.
Yeah. You aim to basically tell a story in most of your songs,
Yeah.
Yeah, we played Goodbye Stella
Yeah.
Yeah.
a bunch of episodes ago, a while back. I think it was sometime last year. We played Goodbye Stella, and I remember at Fork you introducing Goodbye Stella, and you talking about it and saying how like you had like this really bad relationship with it, and this song basically came from that, and you deciding to just take a step
Completely.
and away from drinking, basically.
Yeah.
We'll say it out loud.
Yeah.
And it was really eye opening, that something as so I don't know. I don't want to say it because it is a big deal, but something so simple as deciding, yeah, I'm just not going to do this the way I've been doing it anymore, and then going, I'm going to make this a song.
Yeah.
And then just running with it. The video is amazing, by the way.
Thanks, Derek.
That is one absolute hell of a sled, and it's amazing that it runs. But it looks
67 Olympic with a ski boost, bud. Yeah.
it's absolutely beautiful.
That's great. You said like such a Canadian. That was awesome.
Right? Like it just comes out of it.
67, bud.
But with John Prine's passing in 2020, you decided to write this new album.
Yeah. I mean,
Like-
I was really thinking about him. I love John Prine, and I love, Stompin' Tom and fellas that are real storytellers. It's like, I don't know. I think that shit's pretty important, So, and with Stella, I think it was kind of like, how has someone not written this song already? So it just kind of wrote itself. Yeah, because I think it's like, everyone in the crowd can identify with it on some level, whether it's a family member or a friend or themselves or whatever. It's like everyone knows somebody who does or has drink too much in their life, So,
yeah.
So for me, it was just kind of, and sometimes it's easier to be vulnerable to just be like, make it into a funny song too, So, and I think too, people can kind of like, hopefully kind of, kind of afterwards be like, hey man, like, thanks. Like I'm with you there on that one,
Yeah.
So thanks, Derek. It's, I got a soft spot for that one. Yeah.
Yeah. You wrote, now I don't remember the name of it because but I know you played it at the barn, and I was so moved by it because of your introduction, which was lengthy. It was this is one of the things I love about James is when James starts to he'll just start, he finger picks like oh my God, it's amazing. He's one of the best finger pick guitarists I've seen play live, next to like Brian Setzer. But it was a song about losing your friend.
Yep.
And I don't remember the name of that.
It's called Pete's Song.
Pete's Song. And that's on this album.
Yeah, it's the last song. Yeah.
Yeah. And so not to push into that and make feelings uncomfortable or anything.
Okay, no, comfy. Talk about it. Yeah.
What exactly, how did that song come about?
So my cousin Pete, who actually was also very good friends with my friends up at the barn, many of my friends up at the barn, he took his life 2.5 years ago, and then that was kind of a tune where my friend Christy called me and said, hey, this is, Pete's gone. It just fell out, it was just a song. It just, was something that I felt like I had to say for all of us, and sometimes tunes work out and sometimes they don't. And that song was for him, and kind of trying to think about what he was feeling and what we're all feeling. And yeah.
Sometimes those are the ones that mean the most, and they're also the
Really?
ones too that sometimes end up becoming some of the biggest hits. I've heard many singer-songwriters over the years say that sometimes the ones that just fall out of the sky are usually the ones that have the most meaning.
Yeah, totally. Well said, Craig. And I think a lot of times it's stuff that you don't really have to reach for because it's so close, right?
Yeah.
It's just so close. It's just like, boom, you got it right there. So yeah, I've had a few more of those lately, and definitely when my next album's done, I'll send it to your way, all your ways. So
Yeah. No, please do.
Yeah,
We were speaking with Nisa last week, and shit the bed all over the place. But they had a great
whole bed.
the whole bed.
Literally from headboard to footboard. Like,
Yeah, and
just, like
the entire hour and a half, almost 2 hours, we're on the air. We're just like, I'm like, hey, can I make a plug? And I plugged, and it was like the wrong name and everything. And I was like, cool, I'll just fucking kill myself in the street. It's amazing. But Nisa was saying, speaking about songwriting, she's saying that, what did they say? It's the songs that like just bang, it's out. It's the song you don't have to chase, and you don't have to.
Yeah, she was talking. She was talking about how she does not like. She'll just get a first draft done. Get a first draft done, just so that you have something to work with, and and if you stop and don't get that first draft done and try to come back to it later, it's going to make it harder. And
and if you
don't
try to do too
change
much
it while you're getting it out, like
trying to edit while you're trying to do the first draft as well. That's
what she was talking about.
That's what they said.
When you're trying to edit your first draft, it's like it never comes out the way that it should.
Yeah. You just got to get the ideas down. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think too, it's kind of like, I think we can all relate, whether it's a conversation or an email that's important or something, where it's like spelling, all the like logistics, it doesn't really matter. Just get your ideas out. If you're really feeling something, you're feeling it, really get it out and get that heartfelt message out. And then like you can dot the I's and cross the T's later. Yeah. I think that's a great point. Yeah, for sure.
Are there songs on New Friends that talk like old friends that were more labor intensive?
Oh yeah.
Than others?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Some of them just like, I mean, like, I think About Me, like that song's about social stuff. For me, it's kind of, that song's really about like looking at a lot of people struggling, right? And what's normal I don't think should be normal, like a lot of social things that are pretty bad, and I think that song was just like I could have written that song 100 different ways.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like being the observer at that point, traveling around, talking to people, just living life as we all are, just kind of being an observer and just kind of documenting what I'm seeing, and then trying to tie it together with try to make a catchy little chorus, so and really kind of sinking into I think people if they have a problem, our relationship's falling apart, let's get a dog about it, or let's buy a car about it, or is kind of about that stuff that I think it's hard for people to just be like, hey, I need help, I need a hand here, so we're all, especially with social media world nowadays, it's like I've been making jokes lately, it's like I'm gonna post like shitty days on social media, like I'm gonna tell you the shitty thing that happened. I like posted a gig recently. I played this gig and there were like 5 people here, and there was like a wasted Russian guy who in the front who was like dancing around, air guitaring beside me, and I got a video of it and I posted it, and I was like, great gig this weekend, like stellar. And like, because no one's like, I think we're all cruising around trying to get these perfect photos and show everybody our perfect lives, and it's like we all have shit.
That's hilarious. I love that, dude. I love that so much. Like, he asked me for Freebird 5 times. Amazing.
playing music, you can leave feeling the best or feeling the worst. But anyways, long story short, to answer your question, yes, some of them were like super born in a second, like Think About Me, because it was a song about observing, and then something like, for example, Goodbye Stella might have been a little more labor intensive, because it was like, how do I make this all rhyme, and how do I make this tie together? And really, I'm trying to play on the like, how do I make drinking sound like I'm actually talking about an ex-partner? How do I do that? Where some of those songs require like fitting inside of those parameters, and then a song like Think About Me, there are no parameters. It's just like, what do you want to say, right? So, if
now traveling the world, do you find observing different here, like compared to like Europe and say Australia? Do you find like the observance changes much like, dare I say, you're like David Attenborough and you've gone and you like watch crocodiles in Florida, and then you're like, oh, let's go see the behavioral changes with gators, crocodiles in Australia, and then gators in Florida, right? Like you're like, nice save, right? Good.
Oh, I'm so glad you mentioned David Attenborough. He's my hero.
He's kind of the greatest.
The crocodile.
I just love that he's still doing it.
I love him so much.
This cavernous cave with 65,000 bats.
And he's still doing
they're friggin' awesome. He's wicked. I love him so much.
I think he's 93 and a half. I'll look at Wikipedia after, but I'm a big fan. Anyways, I think people are people. I think traveling is a cure to racism for sure. People are people, but like the thing that I'm finding, especially these days, and like coming home this last time especially, is like, it's weird here. It's weirder here than anywhere I've ever been.
It is very weird.
It's weird here in a way that it's like, especially as a musician, like Canadians are so fly by the seat of our pants, and we're so like nice in a way that's actually not helping us. Like if you're in like Switzerland or Germany or a German speaking place and you're like, hey, could we like do this? And people will be like, no, it won't work. And they're just like super honest. And it's like, whew. Where like I find here, like everyone will just be like so nice to you, and it just makes all of our lives difficult. And it's like, it's so much easier to just be like, no, actually, it's not going to work. Like, don't take it personally. It'll all make us like better for it, So I think that's one thing. I always come home and everyone's just like, either pissed off at you or they're like being so nice, and it just kind of feels strange. Like I like how honest and upfront they are. Like I think that Canadians are so lovely in so many ways and we're so friendly, but it's weird when you come home and it's like some of my friends from German speaking countries, like, I don't really know, like, do people like me? Like they said we're going to have lunch tomorrow and they never call me back, like I think that's kind of weird for us, I think. And yeah, pretty like, we're pretty fly by the seat of our pants. Like I remember like last year coming home and I left Switzerland and everything's very organized and people say what they mean and mean what they say. And like, I had to go into a Staples in Toronto after I landed. I had to get a bunch of stuff. I had to get whatever odds and ends to get set up at home. And it was like, we don't have that. We don't have that. Well, it's all on the shelf. Well, you don't have it. We don't have it. Like, and I just think like in other parts of the world, people would lose their minds. Where like in here, like in Canada, people are just kind of like, yeah, that's okay. Anyways, I'm giving you a long-winded answer, but it's
good. I like a long-winded answer.
Yeah.
I'm just giving you a heads up.
So a couple things. First off, at this particular moment in time, Sir David Frederick Attenborough is 98 years old.
98?
98.
I said 93 and a half. I was so far off.
He's 98.
No way.
He was still 90. He was still 90 ballpark.
Yeah.
I thought he was.
Approaching.
No way.
Half a point for Hufflepuff.
Bless him. Approaching 100. He's freaking awesome.
So are we.
The coolest.
We're approaching 100 too.
Yeah. We are approaching 100 shows.
We're not as cool as David Attenborough.
Not nearly as cool as David Attenborough. But yeah, this is episode 95 of Canadian AF. You're episode 95 here, buddy. So James Gray, our new bestie.
Oh shucks.
But you had something. You had something else, didn't you, Craig?
That was So that was the first thing. The second thing. This is me being a good old nice Canadian boy. No, I have to ask you. Aside, of course, from your huge influence that you were just mentioning a couple of minutes ago that you paid tribute to with John Prine, who else have you grown up listening to, and who else has inspired you?
That's a great question. So, like growing up, I listened to all sorts of music. I was a metalhead, played in metal bands when I was a youngster. Started kind of getting more into like rock music, and then kind of transitioned into really digging into folk music. And I heard a lot of it as a kid, and my dad loves like Southern rock and folk and things. Actually, a cool one, which was really special for me, was I love Band of Horses, especially my early 20s. And they headlined at Mariposa. I played at Mariposa 2 weeks ago, and they were the headliners. And I got to stand backstage 10 feet away from them and just like stand there. And it was me and Noah Cyrus standing backstage, just like standing there, like watching their whole set. And it was wild. So they were a big influence in kind of when I was starting to sing. My music does not reflect them at all. I just wanted to nerd out about them.
That's wicked.
I think another, like, I've always kind of loved rock music and folk music. Of course, Neil Young, definitely a big one. And then like my dad was always really cool to like show me new music and different outlaw country stuff, like Jerry Jeff Walker and Guy Clark, and I love Steve Earle and all that kind of stuff. And then later on, in the past few years, like really getting into a lot of cool indie music. I don't know if you guys know Andy Schaaf. He's a Canadian guy. He's really, really remarkable. Damien Jurado, American guy, another indie guy. Gillian Welch, she's an American country folk and country singer. Yeah, I really like wordy stuff, So, and I think it's important because there's a lot of, I think music can be really a real good form of medicine, So,
even though I would never consider you overly wordy, though. You're kind of succinct. Wouldn't you? Is that fair to? Do you think that that's fair to say? Like,
yeah, maybe.
Or do you think of yourself as wordy?
Yeah, I think it's getting more wordy. I think it's getting more wordy these days.
You have the correct number of syllables in a line, right? Don't you think?
Thank you. I'll take that.
Have you mathed out his songs, Dimitri? You fucking nerd.
Yeah.
In a loving and supportive
way. I don't know. There was
you're sitting there marking it down. No, there's 8 in this one. Fuck this guy.
Well, to reference another Canadian, right? Okay. Do you remember Alanis Morissette's supposed former Infatuation Junkie album? And like she would jam like 20 syllables into 3 bars. Yeah,
I can.
And it's just like, okay, this is what she does now.
Sure.
But
yeah, that's hella wordy. Yeah,
that's hella wordy. I love that. What a wicked descriptive. Oh, hey, just a bit of pop trivia here for you guys, as far for your hero, James John Prine. Do you guys know there's 2 people that got John Prine his start? Can anybody take a wild guess as to? Okay, go ahead, James.
James buzzes in.
Paul Anka.
Okay, I did not actually see Paul Anka, but that's a possibility. I'm going to have to look into that.
Circle does not get a square.
Circle does not get a square today, but there are 2 that are like right off the top of my head.
Chris Christopherson?
Chris Christopherson is one.
Was Chris Christopherson and Paul Anka. Who is the other person?
The other person actually did a wicked paper review, like a massive paper review. Roger Ebert.
I didn't know that.
Roger
Okay.
Ebert wrote
Really?
up. Yeah, Roger Ebert did a huge thing, and I don't know if it might have been the Village Voice or something like that, but did a huge write up on Prine.
Well,
And that
is
was one of
what-
the things that helped to launch him.
Was Prine from Chicago? Or
I gotta read that. He's from Chicago. I gotta read.
okay.
So that's really cool. I gotta read that. I know that Chris Christopherson. I thought it was Chris Christopherson and Paul Anka. But anyways,
that's possible. Yeah.
so there's a fella named, I don't know if you guys are familiar, but his name's Steve Goodman, and he was
Yeah, that's the other guy that's here. So
Correct.
that's Steve Goodman. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
so they're both Steve passed a couple decades ago. Anyway, so Steve was another like wordsmith, and they're both from Chicago, and they were best buds, and they used to play like little tiny venues and folk clubs and stuff. And when Steve got discovered by, I believe it was Chris Christopherson and Paul Anka were hanging out, and they came to watch him at this little club at the end of the night, and was like, "Would you play again?" And everybody had left, and Steve said, "Sure," but no, they invited him to go back to New York. They invited him to go back to New York City to perform and play in bigger clubs and go to Greenwich Village or wherever it was.
Yeah.
And Steve was such a nice guy, and he said, "Sure, but my buddy John is way better than I am. I'm only going if he's coming." And there was like this story about this, and then they brought the two of them, and that kind of, it was like his buddy that kind of helped him.
Steve Goodman
Make
was
it happen.
Steve Goodman was City of New Orleans.
That was his big song.
That was
Yeah.
his big one. Yeah,
Riding on
that's
the
right.
City of New Orleans. Yeah. And then he also, there's a few Prine songs that you might think are Prine songs, but they're actually Goodman songs, and vice versa. You hear Steve Goodman do it, and they would sing each other's tunes. Yeah.
That's really cool. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Great.
Just did a little bit of research there on good old Johnny Prine, as we
Sure.
would say up here in Canada, eh?
Sure.
So
And, sorry.
What do you got
Dimitri.
coming up, James?
Well, I just had a couple festivals which kind of were really exciting, and now things are starting to chill out. So I'm kind of playing 3-4 shows a week kind of around Ontario for the next while, until October. And then I don't know what's next. So also recording this album, so hoping to have it done by the fall. And then so kind of finishing up an album right now, and playing around Ontario a ton. And then I'll once things start to get cold, I'll hunker down the cabin and start to book another Euro tour.
well, Ontario is a rather large location, James.
Yes, central and southern Ontario. Yeah, kind of Muskoka, Simcoe County down to Toronto.
What are some locations where somebody would have a better than average chance of seeing you play?
Okay, so around Muskoka for sure, and then I have a few breweries around Toronto that I'm going to be playing. I know I'm playing one in Uxbridge later in the month. That's a great question, Dimitri. Off the top of my head, so I have my summer calendar. I've got like 50 gigs on it. It's on my Instagram page, so it's jamesgray.music, and you can just look at that summer calendar, and everything's on there. Yeah.
Okay, so let me just ask you, if it's okay, let me just ask you one question.
Absolutely.
Since I feel like we're wrapping up, but why do you, going back to your Goodnight Stella song, why do you think alcohol abuse, substance abuse is so prevalent in the music industry? Do you have any theories?
Yeah.
I've got a couple too. Go for it,
I've
James.
got a few. I'd like to hear yours too, Craig.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I think the one that we hear often, Dimitri, it's a great question. I think the one we hear often is, I think that there's such a high with performing, and when people have days off, they kind of can want to chase that. I think that's definitely a theory.
Yes.
I think for me, like, I'm a feeler. Like I'm really empathetic. I really like, things bother me. I think that there's a lot of issues out there that aren't getting dealt with in a healthy way, and it can really bother you. And I think to dull the senses, that being a very empathetic person and someone who really feels a lot, that is a gift, and it writes songs, but it's also a curse in the sense that, maybe your check engine light's going off, or you're super anxious or whatever, because you're dealing with all this baloney that I think the world could be a much better place. So I think it's easy for a lot of people to dig into some substances to turn that off. And I think for me, that's me in a nutshell. Yeah.
Yeah. My sort of past, having been a musician, as well as a DJ, an entertainer, basically. In a lot of cases, we would actually get paid in alcohol. So, James, I'm sure you've probably had that before too. I'm sure Derek has probably had it in the past, where you show up to a gig and they're like, door really didn't take very much, but here's a stack of drink tickets. Go nuts. Yeah. And you're like, well, I guess
100%.
I guess I'd better take advantage of this because I'm not making any money tonight. So
100%.
I've seen that. I've seen that in comedy as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Oh, comedy is another big one. Absolutely.
I hear it's another level.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. No.
That's a great point. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, this has been freaking, you're awesome. You're just properly awesome. And I'm going to do this, and we're gonna do that. No sound, so no worries, guys. You don't have to yell at me.
Do we get to hear that song again from the intro?
No.
God, no. Fucking love it.
You like it, don't you, James?
It got me ramped up, man.
It's got a cool beat. You can dance to it.
That was really interesting too. How Dimetre said that. You like that, didn't you, James?
Calm down.
You guys didn't choose that, did you?
No, it's actually part of Restream. It's part of Restream.
Oh, but like, did you have options, Craig? Did they give you options and you chose that one?
The other options are even worse than the one that I play.
Okay.
So there you go.
No way.
I'm telling. I swear to you, I couldn't make it up if I tried. Couldn't make it up if I tried. So I'm on your page here.
Yeah. So that one with the light post.
This one.
Yeah, that's my summer schedule. So just click on it.
Okay. Oh,
okay.
Jesus.
So just to tell the viewers, like that's just the like title page. They click on that. The next page has my whole summer schedule. So sorry, Dimetre, that I couldn't answer it quickly because there's a lot of shows. So I don't know, but like around Central and Southern Ontario. But right on that one with the light post.
Oh, geez, there are a whole bunch.
Yeah, there are. Yeah. There are. I don't see anything past July 5 to 7. Mariposa Folk Festival in Aurelia.
July 10th, Farmers Market in
Dwight. Are you seeing something? Oh,
yeah,
you're on
the whole.
So you're on his Instagram, right?
What's the date? 22nd. The 27th.
Anywhere tonight.
27th, you're in the park at Magnetawan.
Yeah, that's a lovely little concert series.
28th, you're at the Muskoka Lakes Winery in Bala.
Yeah.
On the 31st, Fork on Main.
Hey,
Kearney, Ontario. I say Kearney because it's fucking spelt that way.
Yeah, but that's not it, man.
I know.
Is it crazy? Is it Kearney?
It's Kearney.
It's Kearney.
If you say it any other way, then locals will, I'm going to give you guys a term, okay? Don't take it personally. They'll call you a cidiot.
They do call me a cidiot.
Yeah,
that's I love that. That's
even
you ever heard
brother,
that term?
Even my brother.
I've never heard that before. That's great.
That's an up here term.
Cidiot. That
sounds fantastic. It sounds like what they need in Kearney is a rousing rendition of Kumbaya.
You know what they need to do? Change the fucking sign. That's what they need to do.
Yeah. Wow.
Karny. There. I will call it Kearney forever.
Yeah, man.
Oh, you're playing Quail's Brewery? Oh, that's a fantastic spot. That's a great spot, July 29th. Good for you.
I think I actually messed up and supposed to be... It's funny you mentioned that because it's my only typo on the poster. It's August 29th.
Oh, August 29th. Okay, yeah. Cool. Yeah,
sorry, Craig. Yeah, it's not, typos aren't cool.
Yeah, look, it's between August cool. dates right here.
Yeah, they're not cool.
Yeah, Quail's.
You're not even coming down to Toronto. Spot.
No, he's staying up. He's staying up north.
Actually, I just played in Toronto a couple weeks ago, and I played on the 11th floor of the Sheraton Hotel. It was the weirdest gig. It was a lovely gig. Really amazing. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's called Vance Stock. There's this fella named Vance. He's super cool, and he puts on these shows, and I played with crazy good artists, and it's like writers in the round, and it's in this little like ballroom thing. And there's like 80 seats in 11th floor of the Sheraton Hotel, overlooking Toronto. Is pretty wild, actually.
That's great.
I was just joking with the crowd, like I've never played in a skyscraper before.
This is so cool. I'm just looking at some of the names of like your gigs, like gigging with goats, right?
Yeah, I did that yesterday. Yeah, that was
fantastic.
Like where they do like goat therapy, like goat yoga and all this stuff, and they just like I started playing, and they're like 15 minutes in, they're like, we're releasing the goats, and they released 60 goats, and the whole crowd was laughing, and there's all these like baby goats like parkouring off you, and just like
Parkouring off you.
Yeah,
I think I just these names are so Canadian, right?
That sounds like the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah, I think they have to continue this goat concert series because it's a cool idea.
As long as they don't damage the instruments.
Yeah, we had to like cage up around the PA and stuff. They were like, and I had my set list down, and like the farmer like looked at me. She's like, "Put that away. Like no no paper, no nothing." And it actually took a sticker off one goat ate a sticker off my guitar case. Yeah,
Sacrilege.
Yeah, apparently goats can eat anything.
They can and will eat anything.
I was worried about the goats. Like, no, they'll eat
tin cans.
Yeah, they're fine.
They'll eat tires. They'll eat literally anything they can chew. They'll eat it. They have weird eyeballs.
Yeah, they're scary. There's a song in that. Yeah,
there is definitely
probably a song in there.
Yeah,
Tool probably did it.
It looks like you're in the midst of a great summer.
Yeah, it's going good.
Great and busy summer, and I hope that like your fall schedule fills up too, because like I love all that area in the fall.
Yeah, it's lovely. Yeah. Thanks, Dimitri. Yeah, I hope so too. Looking forward to a lot more gigging coming up. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, this is great, brother.
Well, thanks, Dimitri. Thanks, Craig. Thanks, Derek. Appreciate the invite, guys. Yeah. So great.
Dude, man, this is fantastic. So thanks so much. Keep us posted. And let us know about things. Okay, just shoot me an email if you get a chance. Any new music that you get, send it our way because we'll gladly add it to the radio station.
Means a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Our good friend, the Right Sleuth, Scotty, says Huntsville is a beautiful place. Used to go there with family a lot back in my high school days. Huntsville's gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I think actually an old friend of mine, Mike, owns a music store up there. Actually, I believe he's in Huntsville.
Yep, he is. Yeah,
you know who I'm talking about, right, Mike?
Yeah, he's new.
Killer guitar player. Yeah,
shredder.
Wicked.
Yeah,
nice.
Everybody knows Mike's in Huntsville. Come on.
Yeah. Mike. Oh, God.
Very unique name.
I actually I played with him in a Faith No More tribute band.
Okay, cool.
And he is so good, man. Oh, he could shred. Mike, I can picture his face perfectly. He's gonna be really, really mad at me tomorrow.
The guy with the two eyes in the nose, right?
Oh, the guy with the two eyes in the nose.
And he did that. Sure. He did that thing where he talked.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Mike. Yeah.
Okay,
Mike,
James, we're gonna let you go because this is getting stupid. James, again, thank you so very much for hanging out with us today.
Thanks for letting me. Thanks for letting me.
Yeah, man. Anytime. Actually, you know what? When you're finished the album, we'd love to have you back.
Yep. I would love to come back. I'll do episode whatever's double in 95. Yeah. Well, that's too long from now. Is it one a week? Is it one a week?
One a week. Yeah.
One a week.
Yeah. Well.
Thanks, Dimitri. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
We'll
not quite one a week.
Yeah, I'd love to come back to answer your question. Yeah.
Right on, brother. Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.
So from James's latest album, New Friends That Talk Like Old Friends, this is Think About Me right here on Revolution Radio Canada. Canadian as fuck. Episode 90.
Thanks, guys. Have a great night.
1, 2. Well, as soon as I try to write a song, I worry, will they like it? And it comes out all wrong, like a race car driver staring at the crowd. It's hard to find silence when your mind is so loud. I feel stuck in the future, trying to walk the line between existentialism and what I'm sold online. And all the while I better stop to think, what would my mother think? What would she think about me? about me now? What would you think about me? Think about me now. I like to pile a big mountain right in front of my feet, so high that I feel like I can't breathe. I got a nice job and car for all my neighbors to see, but my old lady, she still won't have sex with me. And I know in my heart, if I take care of this heart, I'll find a nice heart that takes care of their heart. Then we'll sew each other back together instead of worrying what will they think. What will they think about me? Think about me now. What will they think about me? Think about me now. Before we all know it, we'll be stuck in the ground, and these worms and bugs will be our only crowd. It doesn't really matter if you're rich or lame, these bugs and worms will enjoy you just the same. I often sit and wonder, what is the point when you'd rather drive an Audi than feed a starving little boy? I guess first world insecurity creates third world poverty, and I'm trying not to let my insecurities bother me. And all the while, I better stop to think, what would my father think? What would he think about me? Think about me now. What would he think about me? Think about me now. What would he think about me? Think about me now. What would he think about me?